Hello, testing, testing. Hey, all right. No, I'm excited now. It's juniors. I care again.
Let's make sure that there are overlays for any injuries that happen. So the elements list is like severely truncated for some reason.
No, it's just the side. It doesn't truncate over here.
No, I know, but where is the thing that I need? Penalty clocks,
This.
roster? Okay. So if there is, a down skater on the track, in order to protect them from being streamed live, grab one of these overlays, click show. It'll cover up, and if you see there, it covers up most of the track. So then that skater's injury isn't going to be.
So to find the overlays, you went under show panels.
So I'm showing penalties.
Penalties.
So we're going to go no panel, show. Okay, and
So
if you
panels.
watch the screen, it's gone. So it's in your panels, and then just pick one.
Any of them.
Any of them, and you can talk about Team 1 or Team 2's penalties. You can talk about the roster. Points per jam is a fun one too. So if I show that, it'll show the over/unders, points per jam.
So is someone doing stats?
Phil's doing the stats for all the games, but you won't get the stats fed to you as an announcer.
Well, that's what. Putting that out there.
No panel, show. Always remember to click show, and if you're not sure what the stream is seeing, just look at that one. And then I'll be running back and forth. At halftime, I'll come to run the MRDA ad, and then I'll click it back. So it's got to be clicked back and forth. So don't worry about that computer, but that's how you're going to deal with if there's anybody down. With the juniors, there have been a lot of down skaters, so just throw the overlay on, and it puts takes a little pressure off the refs from having to grab that big sheet and cover them up.
Okay. And then, so then these are this is my first time announcing this weekend. So then these are going to be the reads, I assume then, just for first basis and some of the other teams that are on the other tracks.
Yeah. Right? So your rosters are here.
Reads.
So there's I believe that this is the next game. Yeah. So here's your rosters for your game, and then you can click back to the overlay. Your reads here. Video streaming. And I think that's all the talkie points. Notable restaurant. I remember the taglines because they tricked me into announcing last night for the Shenanigans game. Is this my mess? No, this is my mess. Okay. Have fun, and I will see you in roughly 25 minutes.
Right.
Well,
Thank you.
probably more like 45 minutes, given time balance. Okay, that is streaming it to you. Awesome.
Thank you. Are these only half games?
No, this is going to be a full one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'll be back for that.
Around half time. Okay. Thank you. Good morning. We're about 2.5 minutes from Derby on this beautiful day here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. My name is Patty LaBelle, and I'm so excited to be your announcer for this wonderful game. It's a juniors game right now between Team Ontario, wearing the white, versus Avalanche City All-Stars, wearing black. I'm going to go ahead and let you know who we have skating for us this morning. In the black from Ontario Roller Derby, we have 042 Riders Block, 1070 Pyro Magniac, 127 Lunatic, 1613 Waghorn, 18 Apocalypse, 1812 Nerdy Birdie, 20 Hayton McGrath, 266 Smashin' Good Time, number 3 Biggie, number 31 our skating captain on the floor, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, number 316 Firewalker, 333 Poison Evie, 505 Sorry Not Sorry, number 7 Red-Headed for Trouble, and number 911 Trauma Queen. Skating for the team in blue from Avalanche City are All-Stars, number 00 Rogue, also captain on the floor, number 02 Rex, 09 Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, number 20 Pantychrist, number 21 Trip Vicious, number 3 Break A Dawn, 44 Troublemaker, 45 Resident Weevil, 55 Elbows Smackaroni, 66 Pyrophilia, 797 Revengeneer, 8 Fleur de Lethal, 815 Tiny Danger, 89 M Ski Hammer, and number 911 Beats. Those of y'all enjoying the stream at home, we'd like to thank Stream System for being able to get this video production going for us. Our officials for this game are Curve Vicious, Nerd Herder, Precedent Weevil, Masquerade, Quacker Smack, Mama Tank, Molly Go Lightly, Scary, Troublemaker, Intervener, Shenanigans, Squid Vicious, Pete in the Pool, and Mansplainer Matt. And that whistle starts our first jam of this juniors game. Excellent recycle by Blockers in Black. And it looks like Black is going to take your first lead jam. That's number 127, Lunatic. For Ontario Roller Derby. Lunatic finding that space on the outside line and going to call it there. That's 4 points, Ontario Roller Derby. Jamming for the team in black is number 18. Oh, and they're going to go out on a track cut penalty for Black. So this is going to be a power jam opportunity for Avalanche City All-Stars. Avalanche doing an excellent job of pushing on this wall of black. That jammer is number 797, Revengeneer. Revengeneer doing an excellent job of pushing on this wall. Black holding down this defense, going on the penalty kill. So lead was determined on black before they went to the box. Oh no! I did that back, so it looks like blue has got lead. So, okay, so they're going to be control of this jam. Apocalypse from the team Ontario through on initial pass. Blue jammer going to go ahead and call it there. So if you'd like an opportunity to support Junior Team Canada, Derby Girls Chocolate is doing a fundraiser for them. Fun Derby and non-Derby themed homemade chocolates, helping to get Team Canada skaters to Australia. Thank you, Derby Girl Chocolates. Flat Track Fever would also like to thank Untamed Fernie, designs made for the busy woman who wants to look and feel fabulous. Untamed focuses on creating everyday clothing that is practical and comfortable while also being fun, flattering, and unique. And that whistle brings us back into Derby. And lead jammer is going to go to number 333 for Ontario. That's Poison Evie. Oh, nice work there by Evie. Finding that outside line, 4 points for Ontario. And there's been a successful star pass for the team in blue. Number 4-5, Resident Weevil will now be your pivot. Ontario going to go ahead and call it there. Junior Team Canada would like to thank Skelgrove for the assorted goods they've donated to help get them to Australia. That whistle brings us into Derby, and oh, a fast lead jam running down that inside line. It's number 182, Nerdy Birdie from Team Ontario. Nice defensive hit there. And number 69 from Avalanche City is going to get through. Excuse me, 8-9, that's Emski Hammer. Ontario going to call it before Emski can score. Jamming for Team Ontario in black, it's number 127, Lunatic. And wearing the star for blue is number 815, Tiny Danger from Avalanche City Roller Derby. And Tiny Danger is going to be your lead jammer. Oh, excellent hit there by Lunatic. Working hard on these Avalanche City blockers to get through. Tiny Danger working a scoring pass. Gets a little offense and calls it there. 2 points, Avalanche City All-Stars. Jamming for Avalanche City All-Stars, it's going to be Revenger up against Apocalypse for Ontario in black. Excuse me, Revengeneer. And Ontario is going to get that lead jammer. Apocalypse working on scoring pass. And with a nice little jump there on that outside line, 4 points for Ontario Roller Derby. And there's been a successful star pass from Avalanche. Ontario going to call it. With a nice move there, your lead jammer is going to be number 333, Poison Evie from Team Ontario. Avalanche City down a blocker. Excellent offense there by Ontario, helping their jammer get through. That's 4 more points for Team Ontario. Oh, and an apex jump for Ontario. It's an excellent setup that these Ontario defense is doing right now. And it's going to be a power jam opportunity now for Ontario as Avalanche jammer heads to the box. Oh, a nice hit there from Avalanche City on this Ontario jammer in the final seconds of this jam. And Ontario is going to go ahead and call it there with Avalanche jammer still in the box. So it'll be a quick power start opportunity for Ontario Roller Derby. Taking that power start opportunity, it's going to be Nerdy Birdie from Ontario. And Nerdy Birdie is going to be your lead jammer. Oh, a nice little jump there on that inside line from Nerdy Birdie. That's 4 points for Ontario Roller Derby. And Ontario Roller Derby through 4 more points. Avalanche down a blocker. And now Ontario has their pivot going to the penalty box. So Avalanche was able to successfully pass their star to number 8-9, Emski Hammer, but unfortunately a penalty was called. So now Avalanche is down both their jammer and their pivot with Ontario lead jammer. Avalanche doing an excellent job of setting up on these defense. Slow down the momentum of the Ontario jammer. And Emski Hammer back on the track, but our jam is going to end there. If you enjoy what you're seeing so far and you're local, please check out Calgary Junior Roller Derby for more exciting action like this. Lead jammer going to Ontario Derby right now, number 127 Lunatic. Tiny Danger wearing the star for Avalanche City in blue. Tiny doing an excellent job of absorbing these hits. But Lunatic is through. 4 more points for Ontario Roller Derby. Lunatic doing some jammer and jammer action there. And Lunatic through. 4 more points. Ontario Roller Derby. Excellent defensive stop right there by number 266. Smashing good time from Ontario Roller Derby in black. And Ontario going to call it, but not before picking up 4 more points. Junior Team Canada would like to thank Beadworks by Red Karma. Help one of our junior team skaters get to Australia this year. Check out their table if you are here in the building. They have a selection of indigenous beading ranging from jewelry, hair accessories to lanyards and keychains. And we're back into roller derby now. Oh, excellent hit by Pivot for Avalanche City Roller Derby. That's number 911 Beats. But Ontario is going to get through for lead jammer. Avalanche down their pivot. 797 Revengineer still working on initial pass. And Avalanche down now a second blocker heading to the penalty box. As Ontario is through on a scoring pass. 4 points for Ontario Roller Derby. Avalanche in blue gets their pivot back. And nice stop there by that pivot, number 911 Beats. Apocalypse through. 4 more points for Ontario Roller Derby. Oh, they're going to reset that nice. Ontario pushing through, determined to stretch this out that full 2 minutes and get the final points in the final seconds. Nice work by Ontario Roller Derby to hang in there. 4 more points. We're about halfway through our first half of this game. Number 5-5, Elbow Smackaroni jamming for Avalanche City. But your lead jammer is going to be Poison Edie from Ontario. And Poison going to call it there before Avalanche can score. Flat Track Fever would like to thank Bad Girlfriend Skates for coming out and helping with our event this weekend, selling roller skate apparel, gear, and accessories. We appreciate you vending. This event was also made possible thanks to generous donations by the Carriage House, Callaway Park, and the Hangar Museum. If you're local and want to try something new or just cross-train for Derby, go visit FitSet Ninja Calgary. FitSet, find your inner ninja. And that whistle brings us back into Derby with number 127, Lunatic from Ontario, taking lead jammer. But also fast to the pack, it's number 8-9, Emsky Hammer for Avalanche in blue. Excellent hit there from Avalanche by number 3, Break a Dawn. And Avalanche able to score 4 points for Avalanche Roller Derby. 2 going in the end there for Ontario. Jamming for Ontario in our next jam, it's going to be number 18, Apocalypse, up against 815, Tiny Danger for Avalanche City in blue. And Apocalypse is going to be your lead jammer. Number 4-5, Pivot for Avalanche, going to the penalty box on a direction penalty. Nice apex stop there by Avalanche. Avalanche down another blocker on a low block penalty. Nice stop by number 2-1 from Avalanche. That's Trip Vicious. Avalanche pivot back on the track. And another excellent stop there by number 2-1 Trip Vicious for Avalanche. Avalanche have a successful star pass to number 4-5 Resident Weevil. So Ontario gonna go ahead and call it there, but not before picking up 4 points. Jamming for Avalanche City Derby, it's Revengeneer. And it looks like Revengeneer is going to be your lead jammer. But slightly ahead right now, it's number 182 for Ontario. That's Nerdy Birdie. And Revengeneer going to call it off. Nerdy Birdie able to squeak in 2 points before that call off. Jamming for Avalanche, it's going to be number 5-5 Elbows Smackaroni. And wearing the star for Ontario. Is 1017 Pyromagniac. And Pyromagniac will be your lead jammer. Nice work by Ontario blocker. Wall of one, slowing down that jammer. Jamming for Ontario Roller Derby, it's going to be number 127 Lunatic. Up against M-Ski Hammer 8-9 for the team in blue. And a shutdown on that inside line by number 316 Firewalker for Ontario. But Firewalker, M-Ski Hammer was able to pick up lead jammer, so gonna go ahead and call it there before Lunatic can score. Next jam we'll have Revengeneer from Avalanche City All-Stars in blue, jamming against Apocalypse from Team Ontario in black. Revengeneer pushing, but it's going to be Apocalypse taking lead jammer. Excellent leg catch by Ontario blocker. Rider's block, number 042. Ontario through 4 more points. Revengeneer still doing great job pushing on this Ontario defense on initial pass. Oh, but gonna go to the penalty box. So power jam opportunity right now for Apocalypse. Avalanche now down both pivot and jammer. Ontario down one blocker. So Ontario jammer now headed to the penalty box. Revengeneer released. This jam will go its duration as Revengeneer is through on initial pass. Full Avalanche team out there now working on their scoring pass with seconds left in this jam. And Revengeneer is going to get through. That's 4 points for Avalanche City All-Stars. Ontario able to squeak 3 points in at the end there as well. Power start opportunity right now for Avalanche Roller Derby. And Avalanche able to capitalize on that and get lead jammer. But Ontario's jammer has been released from the box. Ontario down the blocker. It's a blocker advantage going to Avalanche on this jam. And Ontario jammer through on their initial pass. So Avalanche is going to call it. But not before scoring 4 points. Jamming for Ontario now. It's going to be Poison Evie, but your lead jammer is number 89, M. Ski Hammer for Avalanche All-Stars. And M. Ski Hammer able to get a quick 4 points. And Nerdy Birdie able to find their way on that inside line. Lead jammer going to Ontario. And this is going to be a power jam opportunity right now. Tiny Danger spending some time in the penalty box. Avalanche down a blocker, going to the penalty box on a high block penalty. Tiny Danger back on the track. Nerdy Birdie through. 4 more points for Ontario Roller Derby. And penalty box has been cleared. Tiny Danger through on their initial pass. And Nerdy Birdie gonna go ahead and call it there. A little under a minute left in this first half of our juniors game this morning. Jamming for Ontario in black, it's going to be number 127, Lunatic. Up against Revengineer, number 797 for Avalanche City. And Lunatic is going to be your lead jammer. 042, Writer's Block from Ontario, going to the penalty box on a direction call. Lunatic through on a scoring pass, 4 points for Ontario Roller Derby. Waghorn from Ontario doing an excellent job of slowing down this blue jammer. Lunatic working on another pass, and that's 4 more points for Ontario Roller Derby, and that's going to take us into halftime. A little less than a minute until we start our second half of this wonderful juniors game this morning here in Calgary against Team Ontario wearing black versus Avalanche City All-Stars in blue. Next, whistle will bring us back into roller derby with number 815, Tiny Danger, jamming for Avalanche in blue. But your lead jammer is going to be number 18, Apocalypse from Team Ontario in black. Apocalypse doing a great job of finding their way on that outside line. 4 points for Team Ontario. And Tiny Danger able to avoid that hit through on an initial pass for Avalanche roller derby. Apocalypse through, 4 more points for Ontario. And with a whip, Avalanche is going to be able to get through and make 4 points for, Tiny Danger scores 4 points for Avalanche roller derby. Nice jump there by Apocalypse on that inside line and gonna call it there, but not before Tiny Danger able to squeak 1 point in for Avalanche City roller derby. Revengineer, number 797 for Avalanche City roller derby, wearing the star, up against Poison Evie for Ontario. And with a nice duck, Evie is going to be your lead jammer. Nice Duke from number 333, Poison Evie, able to find their way on that outside line. 4 points for Team Ontario. Avalanche down a blocker on a direction of gameplay penalty. That is number 44. Troublemaker for Avalanche City roller derby. And Poison Evie through, 4 more points for Team Ontario. Pack getting stretched out all the way as Revengineer makes their way through on initial pass. Ontario gonna go ahead and call it there, freezing a blocker in the box and taking a pack advantage on this next jam. Capitalizing on that pack advantage is going to be Nerdy Birdie for Ontario. Up against Elbow Smackaroni for Avalanche. And Nerdy Birdie is going to be your lead jammer. Elbow Smackaroni pushing hard on this wall on initial pass as Nerdy Birdies through on a scoring pass. 4 points for Team Ontario. Oh, and a nice hit there by number 8, Fleur de Lethal for Avalanche City. Nerdy Birdie able to find their way on that inside line. 4 points for Ontario Roller Derby. Elbow Smackaroni still working on initial pass. And Ontario through, that's 4 more points for your team in black. Nice draw back there by number 3 for black. That's Biggie for Team Ontario. Fast work by Nerdy Birdie. Team Ontario, that's going to take them over the double century mark. And with 10 seconds left in this jam, Canada Juniors would like to thank the Notable Restaurant for their generous donation in order to make this tournament happen. Notable, pinkies up, it's fancy. A generous donation was also made by Rydell Skates to help to support this event. So thank you so much, Rydell. We are having an excellent time here at Flat Track Fever with your help. Next whistle brings us back into roller derby with number 127 Lunatic jamming for Ontario. But lead jammer is going to go to Emski Hammer for Avalanche City Roller Derby. And nice work on that inside line from number 8-9, Emski Hammer from Avalanche City Roller Derby. Lunacek jumping, scoring 4 points for Ontario. Emski working on another scoring pass. Box clear for Avalanche, so now they're going to go ahead and call it there. But not before Ontario can squeak in 4 points. An excellent offensive move there, helping to get Tiny Danger from Avalanche City Derby through. But on a no pass, no penalty, they are not lead. Even though they got through first, Ontario actually got the lead, and Ontario able to call it before Avalanche can score. Next whistle brings us back in a derby with Revengeneer jamming for Avalanche City All-Stars. But it's going to be Poison Evie who takes that lead jammer. Excellent containment right now by this Ontario blocker in the front, but Force let them go. Kept it clean though. Ontario down the pivot as Revengeneer threw on a scoring pass. Ontario's Poison Evie able to get through, 4 points for Ontario. Avalanche still working on a scoring pass. Oh, and an Apex shutdown. That's number 911 Beats. And Ontario calling it there after clearing their penalty box. Both teams scoring. Jamming for Ontario in black, it's going to be Nerdy Birdie up against Elbows Macaroni for Avalanche City in blue. A nice fake out there by Nerdy Birdie, able to get lead jammer for Ontario. Avalanche while doing some offense for their jammer, but Ontario able to get through. That's 4 more points for the team in black. Ontario down a blocker as Ryder's block goes to the penalty box on a multiplayer block, I believe. So blocker advantage going to Avalanche on this next jam. And taking that advantage, it's going to be M-Ski Hammer for Avalanche City Roller Derby up against Lunatic for Ontario. And M-Ski Hammer is going to be your lead jammer. Lunatic doing an excellent job of pushing it through this defensive wall from Avalanche. And with a nice little jump there, Lunatic threw on initial pass. MC Hammer threw on a scoring pass. And MC gonna call it before Lunatic can score. Avalanche starting down blocker now. Getting the blocker advantage for Ontario, it's going to be Apocalypse up against 815, Tiny Danger for Avalanche City Roller Derby. And Apocalypse is going to be your lead jammer. Tiny Danger through on initial pass as Apocalypse works on a scoring pass. And with a spin there, Apocalypse is going to take their 4 points and call it. Jamming for Ontario, it's Poison Evie up against 797 Revengeneer for Avalanche City Roller Derby in blue. And with a jump on that inside line. Poison Evie is going to be your lead jammer. Hot on their heels, it's Revengineer for Avalanche City Derby. This now be a power jam opportunity right now for Revengineer. Revengineer going to call it. Oh, yeah. I think we're having a moment of confusion here. I do not believe that Revengineer was the lead jammer. Yeah, that is what happened. Revengineer called it, but was not the lead jammer. So now this power start, we're going to figure it out. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and take an official timeout. Official review. Thank you. If you're joining us here in-house, make sure you check out the Beat Generation booth. You may have seen them compete recently in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Go see their new merch that we have here for sale. Our Flat Track Fever crew would also like to thank Calgary Gumballs from Calgary Super Leagues, the women's division of Super Leagues Calgary. This team has won the opportunity to compete at C Nationals this summer after earning silver at C Provincials last year. This is the first year that women get the opportunity to compete at this level at the CBHA National Tournament, a division only offered to men until now. You'll find a fundraising game at their table to help support them in their travels. So make sure you stop by and show your support if you're joining us in-house. Thank you. We would like to thank Winsport for helping make Flat Track Fever 2025 possible with their generous donation. For the moment, we have both jammers in the penalty box, which is not something we'll have for long. Thank you, Genuine, for sponsoring that penalty box. So, Ontario Jammer has been released from the penalty box and is going to be your lead jammer. Avalanche, blocker, jammer, and pivot spending some time in the penalty box at the moment. A quick work there by Poison Evie, your lead jammer for Team Ontario. Revengineer for Avalanche City back on the track. 4 points for Team Ontario. And we're just going to take a moment here to guarantee the safety of our skater. Penalties on our stream right now. Next whistle will bring us back into roller derby. Jamming for Ontario is going to be Nerdy Birdie. And Nerdy Birdie will be your lead jammer. Elbow Smackaroni jamming for Avalanche in blue. An elbow Smackaroni through on initial pass. Fast work on that inside line being made by Nerdy Birdie. 4 points for Team Ontario. Halfway through our second half of this excellent juniors game today in Calgary. Jamming for Ontario in black, it's going to be number 127, Lunatic, up against M-Ski Hammer, number 89 for Avalanche. Lunatic going to be your lead jammer, but hot on their tail, it's M-Ski Hammer. And Luna able to make a pretty 4 points, but not before M-Ski Hammer able to squeak one in for Avalanche City All-Stars. Apocalypse jamming for Team Ontario. Up against number 815, Tiny Danger for Avalanche City All-Stars. Lead jammer is going to be Apocalypse for Ontario. Tiny working their way through this pack, cutting through these blockers. Apocalypse on a scoring pass. Oh, a huge hit on that outside line by number 20. That's Hayden McGrath from Team Ontario. Hayden McGrath on another awesome hit on that outside line. Apocalypse working on a scoring pass. A successful star pass happened to 0-0 Rogue from Avalanche City All-Stars. Apocalypse working on another scoring pass as Rogue now fights their way through this wall of Ontario blockers. Excellent hit there, Captain Rogue. Oh, but they're going to call that. So now Rogue is going to the penalty box. So for our last 5 seconds of this jam, it's going to be a power jam for Team Ontario right as Hayden McGrath is released. So Ontario will have their full complement of blockers and a power start on this next jam. Getting this power jam opportunity, it's going to be number 127 for Team Ontario. And Lunatic is your lead jammer. Rogue back on the track for Avalanche City All-Stars. Lunatic through on a scoring pass, 4 points for Team Ontario. Luna finding that hole, doing an excellent job of jumping through it. 4 more points for Team Ontario. Avalanche down a blocker as Ontario loses their pivot. Lunatic through, 4 more points for Team Ontario. And a successful star pass has now happened to number 4-5, Resident Weevil for Avalanche City All-Stars. So they will become your jammer and call it there. Flat Track Fever would like to thank Trail Appliances for being our Jam Line sponsor for this event. A little under 9 minutes to go in this second half of an excellent juniors game between Team Ontario in black and Avalanche City All-Stars wearing blue. That whistle brought us back into roller derby with number 1812 Nerdy Birdie taking lead jammer for Team Ontario. 5-5 elbow smackaroni, working on an initial pass for Avalanche City All-Stars as Nerdy Birdie able to get through 4 points for Team Ontario. And nice work there by Nerdy Birdie. That's 4 more points for Team Ontario. Avalanche City still working on initial pass. Excellent drive out on that inside line by number 7, Red-Headed for Trouble for Ontario. And the jam will end there with Ontario squeaking 2 more points right at the end. Next whistle will start the jam with number 127 Lunatic for Team Ontario up against M-Ski Hammer for Avalanche City All-Stars. And M-Ski Hammer is going to be your lead jammer. M-Ski Hammer able to get 4 points for Avalanche All-Stars, but not before Ontario able to score 2. Jamming for Avalanche City All-Stars, it's number 797, Revengeneer. The lead jammer is going to 333 Poison Evie for Ontario All-Stars. Revengeneer headed to the penalty box on a track cut penalty, so this is going to be a power jam for Poison Evie. And Evie through 4 points for Ontario. Nice duck on that outside line by Poison Evie. And they're going to, yes, they're going to call it there. So with a little over 5 minutes to go, Team Ontario is going to start this next jam with a power start opportunity. Taking that opportunity, it's going to be Apocalypse. And Apocalypse is your lead jammer. Revengineer back on the track as Apocalypse is through on a scoring pass. 4 points for Ontario Roller Derby. Nice hit there by Revengineer. Working on initial pass as Apocalypse is through on a scoring pass. 4 points for Ontario Roller Derby. Revengineer still pushing on initial pass. Team Ontario through on scoring pass. 4 more points for Ontario Roller Derby. And they're on a time kill. They're going to call it right at the last second. Next whistle brings us into the jam with number 815, Tiny Danger, jamming for Avalanche. And Tiny Danger is going to be your lead jammer. Jamming for Ontario, and hot on their heels, it's Nerdy Birdie. And Tiny Danger going to call it before Nerdy Birdie can score. Two and a half to go, and in what has been an excellent showcase of junior athleticism here in Calgary this afternoon. Your lead jammer is going to be number 127, Lunatic for Team Ontario in black. And it looks like this is going to be a power jam opportunity as number 55, Elbow Smackaroni from Avalanche goes to the penalty box on a high block penalty. Lunatic from Ontario through. 4 points for Ontario Roller Derby. Excellent offense by Ontario's Roller Derby. 1070. Pyromagniac. Elbow Smackaroni back on the track. Working on initial pass for Avalanche City All Stars. Lunatic through on its scoring pass. 4 more points for the team in black. And Luna finding her way on that outside line. 4 more points for Team Ontario. Elbow Smackaroni working hard on that initial pass for Avalanche City All-Stars as Luna finds her way on that inside line. and Avalanche City All-Stars through. Luna gonna go ahead and call it there.